In April of 2025, Canva held their conference called Canva-curious, and for the 2025 edition, they called it the Uncharted. It was really uncharted because Canva promised that they were going to be releasing a lot of analytics tool into Canva. And because I've been using Canva for over 6 years, I was really interested and I wanted to see what Canva was going to come up with. Guys, I've been mind blown when I saw the Canva Sheets and all of the things that Canva can do. In this video, I thought to do something. Let's just play around. Really, this video is about me showing my excitement for Canva, what Canva has, and that is why I've built a dashboard with Canva to also show you how I did that and to see how to arouse your curiosity a bit. It's very simple. First, I'm going to be walking you through some of the new innovations that Canva has introduced into Canva, and especially the analytics part of it. And secondly, I'm going to be building a dashboard with you. We'll build a simple dashboard. As a matter of fact, all of the data we are going to be using will be generated within Canva. And finally, you're going to be hearing my opinion. What do I think about this whole Canva analytics movement? Is Canva going to replace all of the BI tools that we have because they've got the design? Well, you're just going to hear my opinion and maybe you can make do with that however way you want to interpret it. You know what? Let's get over to it. And here I have Canva open. All I've done is just to go into a folder, created a folder and open that folder here. I will come to create design, and in my create design, I can choose whatever design I want to create. But in this case, this is the Canva sheet. I'm going to be creating a Canva sheet. I'll click on that and it opens a new tab. I could select, because this shows that I've recently used this, but if you've not had anyone you've used, you could come here and select from all the results. But I'm going to use the one that I've recently used. Let me add it to a new page. And when that is done, that opens a new page. Just to walk you through some of the additions that Canva has, under the action button, you can see you can generate a table and it's just going to populate a new table for you. And when you click on that, it's going to ask you, do you want a content calendar? Do you want creative request? If I say I want a content calendar, it's just going to do that creation. Mind you, this is going to use from your Canva credits if you have any form of credit to use Canva AI model. And it's just going to take its time, walk around the data and give me a new table with a new set of data. It's done. It asks me if I want to insert. I'm going to insert, and if I insert that, it gives me a brand new table. It's just basic. If you want to have any kind of dummy data to play with, you can have that generated within Canva. So with my data being here, I can come and just use this data to play around. The fill empty is, let's say for instance, you have like 3 records here. You want to fill it up to become 10, 15. You can say fill empty cells and it can go on and populate these cells for you. I'm going to be using this for the dashboard I'm going to be building, so I'm not going to be doing any application on this here. For the magic chart, you can actually create some chart from your data. It's telling me that they couldn't find any range. Let me just select all of the range I have here and it gives me the possible chart that I can use in my data. I could use the popular bar chart. I could use the tree map. But if you want to see all of the charts that are available, you can come here. Canva has provided a list of charts. And one of the edge that Canva has is because Canva is design first. Being design first is that it's able to blend all of this design into it. And you can see different kinds of charts that are available for you to play with in Canva. And it's really exciting to have this available, and I can do my bar chart. And later on, you can come and do whatever tweak you want to tweak here. You can tweak the data. You can change the x-axis, the y-axis, and you can also customize how you want the legends to appear, how you want the data labels, different things that you can do, and it's really exciting. Of course, within Canva, you can change the colors. You can choose different set of colors for it, and you can actually come here and increase the spacing within the columns. And you can also adjust the padding, you can change the font size, you can change the font color, you can make it bold, you can change the transparency, you can even work on the position. It's really fascinating what you can do within the Canva sheet. And just like your normal sheets, Google Sheets, Excel, or whatever, you can have calculations in Canva. And when you do this, it can work out calculations for you. And the typical functions you would have in regular sheets are all available within function. However, they have some limitation, but the very basic are available here. One more thing I wanted to show is I've seen a couple of videos on social media where you could see different data racing, and they're usually column chart and they are racing across a time frame. Well, you can have that done with Canva. You can have a bar race in Canva, and with the data I have, I can put it, and you'll have this bar racing and the data keeps just moving and racing. If you choose, you can actually add the logos to it, and you can have it typically the way you've seen it, maybe on social media. You can add background music to it, and you can have lots of exciting things to do with this. But this is not what I'm going to be doing today. I'll go to the next page. This is where I'm going to try to build a dashboard. And this is the table I created initially. I'm going to collapse this a bit just to have some space to work on. And for the title, let's try to call it 2025 Social Media Performance Dashboard. To get my data, I could come here to choose to import data. I can do that essentially. Or I can come here and actually fill empty cells. To fill empty cells, I'm going to provide some data header. I don't want to do it here because I want to do something different there. But let me come here and just provide all of the names of the columns that I'm going to be using. The first will be a date, and I'll have platform, followers, then the growth rate, engagement rate, of course likes. And by the way, please like and subscribe to my channel if you've not, to help others have access to these and to encourage me to do more of the videos that you love. Alright, so I have comments, impressions, my click-through rate, CTR, posts. An important one is the ad spend, and the ad spend is going to be $. Let me just move this a bit here. And finally, I have my content type. Start here, call this March 1st, 2025. And this automatically changes the column to a date data type. And to know that when you come here, you're going to see that the data type has been changed to date. And it has that inbuilt intelligence to be able to detect what value you're imputing in your column, and is going to attribute the data type to that column. For my platform, here I'm going to say TikTok. Just put a random number here, 7,500. Yeah, maybe 2.5. Call this 5.8. Likes, let me say the likes 850. For the comments, 90 comment. Impression, quite a good impression, maybe 18,000 impressions. CTR, could say 2.3. Post, I've just made 12 posts. Ad, 150. Maybe want me to do the changes here, that's fine. Currency, yeah. And the data type, I'm going to say short form. All right, because I want a very, very good result, I'm going to have two rows of data. Let me fill the second one. And this, I'm going to call it March 2nd, 2025. Instagram, followers is 7,300. This is 2.7. Engagement rate, I'm going to give it a 6.1. Let's call this 800. Post, 95. And this 18,500, 2.4. 11 posts. Ad spend, 160. And this I'm going to call as a carousel. Okay, I guess I have to change this again. Please pardon me, I'm doing it the very lazy way. I should have just gone through the cells and changed that, but don't worry, AI is going to do it for me. I'm going to select all the cells, get the range, and this is the range of the data that I have, but I could come down and say I want data up to maybe 34, or let me make it a round number, 35. And I'm just going to click this, hold my shift, and click up to 35. Yeah, so I want to get it up to 35, and I come up here, and what this does is that the intelligence of Canva AI is going to fill all of the empty cells, look through the data that I currently have, and populate with more data across board. So I'm done. If I want to make any adjustment, I could make it here, but I'm good with this. I'm just going to say insert, and it does that and populates my data. If I want to increase the data set that I have, I could go on to increase the range, and it goes on to populate that. To have an entire view of things, I could just reduce this a bit, and it gives me an entire view of everything I'm doing. I could reduce this more. Yeah, this looks more like it. And the next thing, I'm just going to do a formatting on my column I'm going to copy the style. And when I copy the style here, I'm going to spread it across this place. Didn't get to the end. Good. And I've just spread that across there. And now I can take this out, no longer need it. My dashboard is taking shape. One more thing I could do is to put my borders. I come to this place, I could select the borders I want to put and say the border should go around it. But there's a problem of the color. I could just come here and choose this as the border that I want to put. And this looks good. Next is I could align it left, align everything left. This is right, this is fine. And I like this font style, the Proxima Nova. I'm going to select the Proxima Nova and could close this. Yeah, this really looks good. You really can't see it until I turn off the grid lines. I could come here and say I want all the grid lines to be turned off, and the grid lines are turned off, and this looks great and it stands out. The next thing I could do is to create more room in this place. I'm just going to right click, and if I do that, it asks me if I want to add more rows. I can say I want to add more rows at the top. Let me add more rows at the top. So here I could write for monitoring the company's social media performance. And immediately I have a problem because it's being text wrapped. I could remove the text wrapping and say that I want it to flow, and it can have the overflow effect. I could increase the font size, and when I increase the font size, I could also change the font color and use something a bit more like this. Okay, or maybe something a bit bluish. I guess it's better. I can now close this. All right, so let me select all of my data. And if I do that, I'm now going to say I want a chart. And the first chart I'm going to have is going to be the line chart. I'm going to place my line chart somewhere here. And I'm going to say pretty quick that as of now, as of today, when I'm doing this video, the line chart of Canva is still pretty messed up, because for the date, you're not able to kind of do an aggregation by month to just have like month give you all of the aggregation. It takes every single row you have and place them on the x-axis, and it still has a lot of improvement to be done on that, but I'm just going to leave it at this. So this looks fine. You have my date range, you've got the engagement rate, you've got the growth rate, you've got the CTR, and you've got post as well. I'm not sure I want post here because I just want all of the percentages. I'm going to take post out. Check this. Be good. So these are the three I'm going to be leaving here. Is there any adjustment I can make here? The legends are fine. So everything looks good. We're going to do this again so we can calculate this for the other metrics that we want to get. I can now come back here and say that I want the magic chart. And this time around, I'm going to be using the stacked row. The stacked row, just going to take this from here. This doesn't look good. But let's see how we can do any kind of enhancements we're able to do. Okay, select this, bring it all the way up. Well, this is not the metric I want. I can come here, selecting on the tile or on the visual, you can come to edit. Under edit, I'm going to change my labels. To start with, what I'm going to have here will be the platform, and here I'm just going to have engagement and growth rate. Let me have growth rate and engagement. Okay, this looks a bit better. I can now raise this if I choose. Before then, you can see that I have a lot of repetition here. To fix that, I can come to aggregate data. I just click on sum. I want the sum of it all, and so it takes them individually. Again, I could say I want my data labels to be there so I could see the numbers by just looking at the chart. I would come here and say I want the data labels, and it gives me the data labels for each of these different metrics. You can take for the total, but the total could look messy. I'm just going to take for just this data label here. What else might I be missing? I think this looks fine. Yeah, when you're designing your own dashboard, please be as accurate as possible in terms of dimension to ensure that this visual has the same dimensions as this, so everything is going to be well balanced out. But for this, I'm going to try my best possible. I still feel these guys could collapse a bit more. I don't know about you. You see? one visual I love a lot, you're going to see it pretty quick. Let me come down here and select all of this. All right, so let's go back to our chart, and it's going to be the bubble plot. I love the bubble plot because I use it a lot in my visualization of data. Okay, how do we make room for this guy? Because I want this guy to be really visual. Come up here. Okay, one of the things I can do is to expand these two. Expand some of these, and this is going to create room there. And also reduce this, reduce everyone. So for my scattered plot, I'm going to come to edit it because right now I don't like the way it is. Here, I want to have ad spend on the x-axis. And on the y-axis, I'm going to have the likes. So I will check this and look for my likes. Please like and subscribe. All right, so I have my ad spend, I have my like. For the size, I want the size to be the followers. The label should be the platform. I hope this is fine. Here I could come to the x-axis. I'm just gonna change this to ad spend percentage, and on the y-axis, I'm gonna change this to likes, and this looks good. Okay, so my scattered plot is available. I think it's still missing something. On the colors, I want it to be the platform. Yeah, so the platforms are the colors. Maybe I need to expand this a bit. Please, when you're doing yours, make sure you do a much better job than what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get by. Okay, this looks manageable. That's all I can say. I'm going to see how to squeeze in a summary table here. Let's try to squeeze in one here. I'm going to call this summary. And under the summary, I'm going to have the average engagement. And after that, I could have the average CTR and just put percentage here. And above here, I'm also going to add the percentage. Okay. And the last one is going to be the total ad spend. And this is going to be $. Okay. How do I get the value that is going to be here? It's very simple. For the average engagement, I'm going to say is equal to, I'm going to take average of what? Let me come down to my engagement, select this, go all the way to the end. While holding my shift, I select the last one there, and it gives me all the range. I close my bracket, and this is good to go. Similar for the average CTR, I'm going to say equal to average, select this. While holding my shift, I select the last one, close my bracket, and I've got my value here. For the total ad spend, I'm going to say is equal to sum of this all the way to this place. I close my bracket, and it's good. These two, I'm going to change this, leave it as number, and I'm going to left align everything, open this a bit, and I'm going to give it the formatting of this main one. Yeah, and this looks good. One thing else I could do is to reduce this so as to have space for that one. And that looks fine. I'm just going to do the last thing to add some titles to this. So I just clicked on my header. I'm going to give this a title. I could call this engagement trend. Reduce this to a size I think might be manageable. And I'm going to put in a background color, come to effect, choose this, and I could change the color if I choose to. Let me use something a bit light so I don't overwhelm my text. Engagement trend here. Yeah, it looks a bit fine. I'm going to copy this and paste here. I could call this the growth versus engagement rate by platform. Just ensure this is well aligned. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to copy this for this other visual. Bring it here. So I could call this ad spend versus likes, and maybe just say spend. Put another name anybody might want to call it again, maybe spend versus reach. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. If I want to view the entire thing, you could either view it this way. I bet you there's a better way we could help this guy here. Just bring it closer. Yeah. All right, this looks good a bit. Yeah, and I could increase it slightly, and then I could present in full screen. So this is my social media performance dashboard, and you could do a much better job when you have the same data set. It's just understanding what you want to do, what will be your end goal, and with that you could just use the tool available here and you can create a much better dashboard than what I have. And here you can see the summary, and if you want to have a summarized view of everything happening in your data, you can do that here. You've got your scattered plot, you've got your stack bar chart, and you've got your trend. Next is my opinion. Don't be scared. I'm not going to tell you to dump Power BI and dump every other visualization tool you have and start using Canva. The opinion is really what I think about this whole thing that Canva is trying to achieve. Where do I see this going, and what do I think Canva could make out of this? First, I'm going to be talking about what Canva is doing right. Despite some of the limitations with this, I want to say that Canva, they are actually changing the game for non-technical users. Typically, non-technical users will rely on the data analysts, the BI developers, to be able to come up with dashboards for them, insights. But non-technical users that just have maybe a simple Excel, they can use Canva Sheets and be able to transform this simple sheet into a dashboard. So what this means is that this is good for marketers, small businesses, non-technical people that just want to be able to have some data, push an ad, or even design a customer acquisition strategy. The next thing Canva is doing right is the integrated workflow. You've got the Canva sheet, you've got the design, you've got charts, you've got all of this embedded in the current Canva ecosystem. And the last thing I think Canva is getting right is because Canva is a design first approach. Being a design first company, your dashboard is going to be absolutely lovely, and you can have those beautiful dashboards than what you currently have within the legacy systems. Now let's talk about the limitation. No matter how beautiful this is, it's got some limitations which could be a problem, especially for the advanced users in data and analytics. First is the fact that this has lightweight calculations and logic. The Canva sheet is not Google Sheets, it's not Excel. It does not have any kind of advanced functions. It's limited in formula support. It doesn't have pivot tables or any of this kind of interactions you will have across sheets as you would expect. And at the moment, it doesn't have any conditional logic yet. It is simply not built for any serious data wrangling. Canva could go on and have all of these things added, which is going to be very beautiful, but as it stands, it's quite limited in this functionality. The second one is the fact that it's limited in interaction. The dashboards are really static, or they are semi-interactive at best. You cannot really do something in one visual and it affects the other visual. It's just like having your static website and there's no changes, nothing is being done. If you want any kind of drill downs, you don't have filters, you don't have live data integrations, you are still manually just updating, uploading CSVs. Nothing is being done in an automated way. You are not bringing in data, you're not connecting to your server, you're not connecting to any other data source. You're just ingesting your data or you are imputing them manually. It could be quite limiting if you are a data analyst or a data engineer, you want to do something a bit more complicated. And the third is the scalability complexity. Like I said before, it's good for just basic reporting with dozens of rows, but please don't have thousands of rows or even millions of rows in this. It could break. And it's very simple. This is lightweight. It's just for you to get your initial data to present a report. As a matter of fact, I'm going to advise, if you want to use this, do all of your computation maybe in SQL or in your data warehouse and get an aggregated data, just few rows of data, and you can ingest it as Excel into Canva and use it for presentation. And the last one is about the automation. No triggers, there's no refreshes or scheduled data pools. It's just visual storytelling, and that is the best way you can use this. Use it to tell stories, use it for presentation. Basically, I don't see Canva as a threat to the existing players. It's not a threat to Power BI, it's not a threat to Tableau, it's not a threat to all of the existing players. However, it could be a threat to some of the smaller players that are already existing. I use Airtable, and Airtable have got a couple of data visualization they try to do. I see a lot of users leaving some of these smaller players to start using Canva for mostly their presentation and to be able to do basic reporting. And for the smaller guys, they're going to be affected, especially those that have a form of integration with presentation. But because Canva is positioned as presentation ready over just simple data, is going to play that role and use it for presentation. But for the legacy guides that are there for more complex kind of reporting, Canva doesn't seem to be a threat as it stands, unless Canva goes on to have something more up their sleeves and maybe see this video and see more things that they can implement to make this more robust. But as it stands, Canva has done a fantastic job in what they have provided, and I've played around with it. You can also play around with it and let me know what you think. Hopefully it's something that you enjoy doing and you find interesting. Thanks. I'm going to be seeing you in my next video. Please like and subscribe, and so that others will have access to these and to encourage me as well to be able to go on doing videos like this. I'm going to be seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.